Live. Oh, we are live.
Hey,
First of all, guys,
hey.
I have missed you. Moja Leroy. Leroy is so. Leroy wants to be introduced haraka haraka. But guys, first of all, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. The last time I saw you guys was in November. I didn't have this much here, but life changes, things change. As we go live today, I've missed you. I can't stop saying I've missed you. What's wrong with me? Anyway, so thank you for joining Creative Cliche, the first season 2, and our first guest is one guy I actually look up to. His name is Leroy, and he's a top guy. He's funny. He has a crazy mohawk. And the best thing about him is that he's always ready to help a young person achieve his dreams, and that's why he's here today. I'll let the rest speak. He'll speak about the rest himself. So, Leroy, Karibu.
Asanda Muno. And yeah, for sure. I'm always ready to help
Yes.
young people do their thing.
Asante one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's do this thing, bro.
Do that. Which, yeah. So I'll start with, imagine, Leroy. I'm a creative. I'm a HR. I want to know why I should hire you, because this is one question that young people struggle with a lot. Like, why should I hire you? And sometimes, because we put our value in our work, we don't know sometimes how to answer that question. So how would you answer that question yourself as a senior creative leader for the past 3 years in many agencies and 10 years plus in different advertising agencies?
That's a good question, bro. Because there's many ways of looking at it. What
Yes.
technical knowledge do you have? What interesting
Yeah.
things you know how to do that sets you apart from
Yeah.
other people? But the most
Yes.
important thing I would say is you bring your perspective, right? You bring your perspective, you bring your way of looking at problems and solving problems. It's the most
Yeah.
valuable thing, okay?
Yes.
And you can't really put a price on that, to be very frank. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's all of it. You sure?
That's,
It's nothing
no,
more
trust me.
you want to add?
No,
Yeah.
trust me, that's 100% all of it because your perspective is what makes you unique.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I'll pay you 100 bob or 100 million bob. That's pretty much it.
Speaking of perspective, you happen to work in a lot of different agencies, starting from I think you've been throughout the biggest agencies in Kenya. Sometimes as a young person, you don't know when is the right time to move. When do you finally? Because I'm sure there are many different reasons a young person would want to move out of a different agency. But as a
Yeah,
person who's been there, when would you say it's the right person, it's the right time for you to think about the next step?
there's only one answer to that, and that's when you feel you've learned enough from the place that you've been working, right? On my first job, I was doing like 3 jobs at the same time. So I was learning 3 different facets of agency work. And I didn't feel until I was confident, until I could say I was 100% amazing at art direction, design for production, or even, client service, whatever it is. But some people think they get rich quick by jumping from job to job. And
Yeah.
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
But can you really from your career? Because business people out there tell us if you want to get rich, you better quit your job. Is it the right thing? Is it the right message? Especially because if you're a creative and you want to make a living out of creativity, like what you do yourself,
Yeah.
offering solutions to clients, and you still want to put food on the table. But as a young man in Kenya, especially, or a young woman in Kenya, the skills that you have compared to what the market is paying you. And that's why I started with that question in the first place. How then do you value yourself? It's a pretty tired question, but it's very important.
I think first of all, bro, you must
Yeah.
value yourself highly, okay? Because your uniqueness in your individuality is priceless. Okay, the way you look at things, the way you think about things is priceless. right? The only thing in terms of the professional world that will hold you back is people will ask about your experience, how many people have valued your perspective in the past, and those are the things that determine whether you're at starting level or advanced level. And that's all it is. And what I'd say is don't quit your day job if you don't know exactly what you want to do. And if you don't have something that you're really passionate about, and if you don't have a good support system, because you need a good support system, right? Because entrepreneurship or even just following your dreams is about risk. If you can risk it and fail and go back to fall back on something, then that's always good. And sometimes you just have to go about it the hard way. Fail and fail and fail and eat dust and start over.
Fail and eat grass and start all over. Okay, fair point.
Yeah.
But put it in this context.
Yeah.
I not only want to, because there's that struggle between the money and the creativity, and most of the time, like you said earlier, you quit when you feel like you've learned enough. But sometimes you want to stay there because the money is good as well. And life is also going on fast. Yeah. And you really want to expand in your career, because I feel like a lot of young people are looking towards growth. But from the way the agencies are placed nowadays, that's one-on-one mentorship, that one-on-one is not happening, especially right now because of Corona. How then do you mitigate such issues?
Something. I think, okay, depending on your level of experience, you will find people who will look for you all the time. Okay? You'll find people who remember you for your writing skills, or your conceptual skills, or your photography skills, right? And they'll always want to come back to you. And you see, the only way that you'll ever get that is by in your past in being the 100 most authentic version of yourself. Okay. And I think again, there's no impossibility, even with Corona, even with the pandemic, even with Zoom calls, even with YouTube lives. You can still do those things.
Did I lose you? Like I've lost you.
Did you lose me?
I never had you.
Exactly.
Okay, it's okay. Let's talk about your experience in this creative sector, and just your experience in this creative sector. I'm really intrigued because when I was looking up your profile, you are really big on digital. And the problem that I have with clients most of the time, especially if you're doing freelance, when they tell you digital, you ask them, so you want a digital campaign? And they say yes. So you ask them, okay, what does it entail? And they tell you Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And they confuse that with digital. Do you mind, just expanding for us what digital means in a creative sector, in this creative sector?
Digital is anything that basically uses mobile or digital platforms to communicate with humans, right? And people think Twitter, Facebook, that's social stuff, like WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
And digital is SMS as well. Still comes through the same way. You know what I mean? So again, I think in many cases we tend to ask the wrong questions when we're getting briefs or when we're trying to understand stuff. We try and be all technical and stuff. And you just have to ask your client, dude, what are you trying to say and who are you trying to say it to? Then we can figure out where they are and how to speak to them. It's not rocket science.
Well, it does sound like rocket science, because when, like you said, you want to ask, okay, so you've given me this brief. What are you trying to say? But then again, most of the time the client does not know what they want until you explain it to them, back to them that I think this is, this is what you want. So most of you end up spending so much time in the talking stage, and I'm sure I remember you used to have this problem a lot. When people are getting briefed in agency, there's so much time talking about everything else except whatever the client needs. When is it the right time to stand up with the client and say, you know what, this is what you're supposed to do, and this is what the results that you get. Most of the time, if you're a freelancer, if you're a copywriter or creative, you're afraid of pissing off the clients, and because you might not get paid,
Yeah, we put a very huge importance on money. Okay, because that's how we live our lives, that's how we pay our bills, how we feed our kids and all that sort of stuff. But if you don't, like, what is your purpose, right? Why were you given a brief if not to give 100% the best advice that you can, right? If it was a matter of just draw me a picture, put a bunch of words on it, and give it back to me, then I could tell you take 200 bob as opposed to the 2,000 bob that is on the table. You understand? Yeah. And what I've come to find is that people are not empowered enough to speak up and say what the truth is, right? No one has the balls. Yeah, just always tell it like.
Remember, guys, we said that Leroy Algopangi to go their extreme, and so we're just searching. So when you say balls, actually means the balls.
I mean the actual balls.
Yeah, the actual ball. Keep asking your questions. We'll pass them to you. It's something that you've raised, which is quite important. People do not have the balls, not just to ask the right questions, but
you went on slow-mo.
Interrupt this internet. It's digital. Anyway,
sorry.
I was saying.
It's okay. Just repeat that, please.
Can you hear me? Okay. I was asking. People nowadays don't have the balls, to even say, I don't agree with my boss because of so and so. We just want to get the work done, which I feel is a struggle a lot in this agency. I want to know, you as an executive creative director and as a mentor, what are you doing about that?
My personal way of dealing with that is that I like to give my team, in whatever capacity they are in, the leeway to lead, right? Lead the conversation, lead the brief, and what I do is I back them up, right? So if we're answering a brief, I'll make sure that it's up to scratch in terms of helping them build their idea. And then after that, if anyone tries to question this junior person's opinion, then I'll tell them, dude, this is coming from me as well, right? And that's something that maybe we didn't have in my time, where you had backup of the most senior person on the creative team.
So you agree that most of the time, the younger generation, or rather the young people who are watching this show, either are not speaking up enough, or when they speak up, they get shut down.
Yes. One, they're not speaking up enough because they feel they don't have the permission. Two, depending on where you're working and who you're working with, you do tend to get shut down. But if you're working with me, bro,
Are you accepting applications?
Yes, sir. Always and every time.
We'll share your number after this. But there's some
my email address. My email address.
Your email address, the official email address.
Yeah.
There's something talked about asking for permission, and in the creative sector, which is also, as a creative myself, I'll also put myself on the line here and say I've not been doing enough creative work to push, to push society or to push this industry forward. But we find that most of the things that we are churning out as a country, or rather this advertising sector in Kenya, it's still the same thing, it's still the same ideas from the past. And now that as we're moving forward, I don't find like, because even if you see a lot of clients are not on TikTok, which is a new medium in the country. And I struggle because I don't know whether that's a failing on the agency side or on the creative side, or it's a failure on the client side. What are your views?
That's an interesting question, Ash, because I think everyone wants to be on the latest platform and on the latest trend. Marketers are always keen on that, by the way. They'll always tell you, give me an idea on how to sell milk on TikTok. And, and you're like, but where's the added value? Where's the budget? Where's whatever? You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, there's a solution for everyone. And sometimes we tend to make it complicated because we want to win advertising awards. But the truth is, we're actually trying to help our clients speak to the audience or their customers and convince them to choose them as the preferred, supplier or products. And the thing is, and I've come across this in my career a lot, where we say we are the best milk in the country, in the region, but that milk is, full of contaminants or whatever, yet you work for the agency that's trying to sell that milk. You know what I mean? So there's got to be a balance where you partner with the right people who are selling things that are easy for you to sell,
Well, then that brings a counterpoint where, fine, say for instance myself, I'm working in an agency, right? And maybe I don't believe in this product as much as I know it's shit most of the time. Maybe the product is shit, but I still have to sell it, which goes against my values. Is there an opportunity for me to say, you know what, I don't want to work on this product? Because most of the time, you sell your soul to the devil, you make a first-hand bargain, and you just get on with it. You sell and you go and repent.
Yeah, I think there's many ways, because think about it like this. Number one, you can reframe how you look at that product, because it's possible that it has a different, unique benefit to a customer or the audience than what you're trying to sell. And that's what you've got to tell your clients, guys. Don't try and compete on pricing because you're not the cheapest, right? Compete on your availability. Compete on your different pack size. Compete on very many other different things. So it's all about perspective on how you look at stuff, okay? Secondly, you could, it's looked at as you've given up. If you say, Mr. CD or ECD, I don't want to work on this because I don't believe in it, right? It's kind of a cop-out where you're like, I can't think of a way through this or around this. You understand? But in some cases, it's actually a shit client trying to sell a shit product. Not all the time, but yeah.
So then, do you fire clients or do you resign from the job? Which comes? Is it the egg or the chicken? Which one comes first?
That's a good question. Is it the egg or the chicken? I think Chadwick Boseman was asked by Larry King recently, before he passed away, what was the best piece of advice that he ever got in his life? And that was just before he passed away. And he said, learn when to say no, right? And I believe that 100%, because we've all got bills to pay. We've all got ambition. We all want to drive the latest, live in the biggest, dress in the best, and we need money for that. So it's difficult to say no to work. It's difficult to say no to difficult clients because sometimes they pay the best. But like mental health and the ability to be creative It doesn't work with the stress and pressures of nonsense. You know what I mean?
It's an amazing thing actually that you talked about mental health, because I was just reading into that, and especially now when Corona hits the country and a lot of agencies or a lot of young people now starting working from home. And that power of community that I could share with, say, I'm suffering, and I could talk to Leroy in the office and ask him, so bro, I'm going through this issue right now.
Yeah.
Will you buy me a drink? You never bought me a drink, by the way. I'm not complaining.
I'm sure I did, brother.
You
sure
never. But say,
Ash,
for instance,
we'll go back to Scanad. I'm telling you.
we will.
Let's get a drink. No joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to, like, there's no one that you can talk to right now, because we are all working from home. Maybe I'm working from Kakamega, another person is working from
Yeah.
another place. People are so fast paced out as young people, and as people working in this high pressure industry.
Yeah.
How then do you keep sane? Because the next question will be obviously be what kind of coping mechanisms that you use, because I know a lot of people use maybe drugs or alcohol or abuse. Because every time you tell somebody you're a creative, they say, you need the one to a bank, you need the one to a kuku. This is a very bad brand, considering not everyone does that stuff. How then do you cope? Because it looks cool to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think Ed, the main thing, like you've talked about so many things that are so important. Like, I just can't give you one answer that works. But I'll tell you, there are people who don't necessarily use drugs or singing for coping. It's their thing. It's their packet of crisps. There's some guys who that's their leisure, and you can't judge them based only on that. Then
Yes.
again, remember, in any organization, in any structure, there's a leader figure, and then there's the followers. There's a structure has all those forms and formats. So if you've got a good leader on your team, that's someone who knows in their mind that I need to change my people. I need to encourage my people. I need to be stronger than the rest of the team, so that these guys know that it's possible to cope and to deal and to move and to grow even together. So if unfortunately some people don't have that, man, like, you need to move. You need to move. You need to attach yourself to someone else who can guide you and help you, uh, get past all these things.
But where do you go? Because right now, like we are working from home, right?
Yeah.
Jobs are far and scarce and in between. And if you tell me to
Yeah.
move just because I have a small headache, I may never find work again. And there's that sacrifice. How far am I pushing myself to get this job done at the expense of my health, which is a balance that not many young people are able to find. I don't know how you back in the day used to find that balance, but
back in the day, I'm still young, you guys. Don't be funny with me. Don't be funny with me. I'm still young. Right?
You are. Yes.
But the thing is, Ash, listen, you've got to a certain extent, it's a very personal thing, and how your mentality is. It's very easy to fall into a situation where you feel like there's no way out, right? But you've got to remember that the only way out is by growing and changing. So what do you tell your mind? What do you say to yourself? If you tell yourself, like, it's really important what you say to yourself. If you wake up in the morning and say, damn, if something doesn't happen today, then I'm lost, and you say that over and over, you're going to believe it. Whereas if you say, today I'm going to try learn something different and see how I can apply it into my life, into my creativity, then chances are you can, right? And if you do that, if you change, you may attract the eye of someone who's looking for your type of perspective. Okay, and there's some people who are really trying to create different ways of answering briefs, different ways of having agencies. Like abroad we've got Fiverr and all those other platforms where you can get work, but locally you've got something like kv.com, and it's like you just go on there, register, and you've got your own. I mean, it's the same concept, but it's local. You understand? And
Yes.
Ed, are you telling me that you can't ask for the manager right now where you are and ask, how can I help you? I'm a writer, I'm a creative person, how can I help you?
Definitely myself, I know I can. I'm not sure about the rest. So I can only speak for myself.
Yeah, of course, but the rest are like us. And a lot of us we struggle with courage to speak to strangers, courage to present an
Yes.
idea, courage to even articulate a thought. But if you learn from someone else who is one step ahead of you, then
Yeah.
what really is stopping you? Just tell me. I'll wait.
You're going to wait forever in that case. Now, Leroy, maybe just to move away from the mental health issue, and let's talk about something that someone texted me about the other day. I'm sure when you go to the art and copywriters group in Kenya, you'll find a lot of interesting ads. And
Yeah.
maybe just, I'm sorry if the client is watching this, but the other day I saw in Karen an ad about mosquitoes. I think it was Martin Du, which was saying, kills mosquito fast. Kupia, do. And I was like, and then the artwork
Yeah.
was, it was a cemetery
Kill them.
with a mosquito there. Yeah,
Yeah.
kill them fast. And I'm
Yeah.
just wondering, is it a creative, or am the clients are now doing their own artworks and copy? It's a sad state of affairs.
I don't think it's a sad state of affairs. I think that it's a sad state of advice, right?
Yes.
And also, what's happening is we've got people who are in the marketing departments who are, I don't know, textbook marketers, not really people who are creative or inspired or people who want to break boundaries, but there are people who say, I am the marketing director and I know, and this is what we're doing, so execute it for me because I am smarter than you, right? And this is the wrong way of tackling anything creative, right? A proper creative brief is something that is tackled as a community and built as a community, because we can all agree that today Eddie is taking lead and we're going to build it until it gets the most that it can get out of it, right? But some people and even leadership, like MBs and such, will come and say, guys, we are going to say, kill those doo-doos quick, and that's it. Don't tell me anything else. And I mean, that's just a situation that exists.
But then, how do we mitigate it? Because, fine, this is what is happening. But for me, I don't want to be associated with such kind of work. I don't want people to say, Ashura did that work, or Leroy was his boss when that work was getting done. Because this goes back to the question between value of your money and value of the work that I'm giving out there. And most of the time, I think we just say, let me just put this work out there. And either it's you guys, Kinalilo, you are not fighting enough for us, or the young people don't just care anymore. I don't know what's happening.
I think Ed, the most important thing is that different clients and different briefs are different. Okay, and you may come across some people who are open-minded and respect maybe agency or creative, or like you go to a doctor and say, listen, my leg's infected, why don't you just do a brain operation, right, and fix my leg? Whereas other people will come and say, listen, I'm feeling unwell. These are the symptoms. How can you help me? Okay. And the thing is, we've got to trust our creatives. We've got to trust our agencies. We've got to trust our professionals who are giving us advice. And only when you feel in your gut that you're being given the wrong advice is when you get a second opinion, and then you start judging. Otherwise, if you're going to a well-known and respected creative team and asking for advice, you should take that advice. Okay? It's as simple as that. There's no two ways about it.
Okay. Speaking of advice, Leroy, this now I want you to give me this from your own personal point of view. Would you rather be a small fish in a big pond or a big fish in a small pond?
Ask that question again. Would I rather be
Would
what?
you rather a small fish in a big pond or a big fish in a small pond?
Small fish, big pond.
Why? Why?
Size is relative, right? If I am a small fish, I'm bigger than another fish, right? And maybe I'm content with that. And what you're asking about is almost about ambition/greed. Like, what is enough? Yeah, because you can't have two Richard Bransons in the world. There can only be one, and he's already him. So you can only be as good as you can be in whatever field you're playing with.
But you see, now most of the time, as a young person, you need to aim high, especially if I come from Empire in the Western. So you just have to aim high, and you really don't want to settle. And this is a question that I struggle with a lot personally. When is it time to settle? Like, you know what? I've reached the apex. I think I can do more, but let me enjoy this level for a while before now I start going into other things. It's always a struggle.
It's not really settling is regarded as a very negative thing, because it means you get complacent, you become fat and chubby, and you can't run as fast as the other guys anymore. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, what is your mindset? Okay, what is your mindset? Is your mindset a growth mindset, or a different mindset which is full of lack and there is a ceiling and you've reached the max? Do you understand? Because if I am in an organization and I've just started, okay, and I have the opportunity to build a bunch of young people into a strong team, I've got the opportunity to change the perspectives of the clients that are in the agency, then for me, I'm almost starting from scratch, and it's amazing, and it's an adventure again, right? I may not be making a gazillion bucks as I would if I was in a bigger agency or a different agency, but the challenge is there, right? And settling, what the fuck is settling anyway? Okay, what is it? Just elaborate.
Okay, I'd give you a for example, like I'd say I've been out here in this industry for 4 years or 5 years, and I'm like, you know what, bro? Let me come and show you I'm tired. let me just enjoy this copywriting level, or let me just enjoy this creative director level. I don't want to do more. I don't want to push myself further, because the other thing is that you might go crazy. Go crazy pushing yourself out there, so you settle. You say, this salary range that I'm getting is enough for me. I can feed my family. I don't have to run.
Did you disappear again?
Out there and become a slim guy.
Make a bundles, mse.
Sorry, my internet. Unachoma, bro, unachoma. So for me, that is what settling is. When Or rather, maybe the correct question I should frame it is, when do you know it's now time to go to the next level? Because that is something that we struggle with a lot.
I think Ed, the biggest thing is, if you ever feel like you're the smartest person in the room, this is something I've heard before, then it is time. Hey Nisi, Wagwan. Sorry. If you are feeling like you're the smartest person in a room, then my guy, maybe it's time to surround yourself with smarter people and people you find smarter. Okay? And the biggest thing is, you will always know in your gut when it's time to level up. When you get tired, when it's difficult to wake up to go to work, when you stop enjoying what you do on a daily basis in terms of the solutions you provide, in terms of the work that you do, in terms of the bits of work that you feel talented at, then it's time to level up or to move on, right? And that's as simple as it is. Where's our audio, bro?
Oh, I'm sorry. I put myself on mute. Aki, am I really digital?
I'm wondering if you're digital.
I need to go for crash.
From Johnny.
I'm saying that question. I'll ask next. Maybe I'll ask after this one, where you've said that you don't have mentors. You're not asking for advice, but really, it's very hard to get a mentor in the creative sector in the country, because the best ones, which is, say, for example, you. Okay, I see what you're doing.
Oh, wait.
Example,
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. For example, me, yes.
I know your love language.
Hey, kidogo.
So, for example, who is you? I'd look for you and say, Leroy, I need you to mentor me in this creative sector, because I'm struggling with my art, and I'm struggling with my, my copywriting. I need it to be shaped, yeah, so that I don't spend over 10 years honing a skill which I can hone in 5 years and move into other things. Where do you find these mentors, and how do you approach them? Or rather, how would you like to be approached yourself?
I think, wow, that's a dope question. I think the main thing, Ed, is that one, if you 100% of the chances that you don't go after, you will always lose. Okay, so if you don't ask Leroy or anyone to mentor you, then they won't. Okay. And something that I do, I read a lot. I listen to audiobooks like I must be, I'm probably over 40 books in right now since last year. And I'm trying to learn as much as I can and use what I'm learning. Now, sometimes, like, for example, I follow a gentleman on YouTube called Chris Do. I don't know the guy, but I follow him as if I understand this guy is speaking to me, right? So that's my mentor, to be quite honest. Yeah. And you don't have to meet someone for them to be your mentor. You can just learn about a person, read a memoir, read someone's book on different teachings in terms of marketing, selling, creativity, mindset, and that person becomes your mentor depending on how you perceive what you're taking in. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean. Okay, I think we'll go to Johnny's question, where he's asking, how do you price your work as a creative?
It's funny. I just watched a video yesterday from Christo about pricing your work. And it's a recap from something he posted, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And the thing is, the mistake we make is we say, what does it cost to create an annual report, a poster? And in your head, you're like, oh, it'll be this and that and this and that. And you give that cost, not thinking about your profit, right? Because you need to make a profit as a business or as a business person. And then something crazy is, what is the value of the solution you're giving? That poster that you're designing or that radio ad that you've created, right? That says buy one, get one free at X cafe. Yeah. In 3 months' time, those guys will have sold 1 million cups of coffee and 50 million croissants, right? And
Yes.
will have paid 2Gs. Do you understand? So there's a difference between price, there's a difference between cost, price, and value. Okay? So that's how you've got to think about it. This one logo that I'm designing for Safaricom could be worth 10 million in 5 years' time, could be worth 10 million in a month's time. So you've got to price that differently, price based on value, right? Don't just say this is a Safaricom job, I'll charge 1 million, and this is a Leroy cafe job, I'll charge 1,000 bob. Nah, the value is the value. Okay. And never undervalue yourself, right? Never undervalue yourself.
Call my invoices and you charge them. I think I've been undervaluing myself as well. Anyway, there's something you said about there's a difference between price and value. And this is what most creatives don't get. And in a jiffy, explain it to us, giving an example. Right? I'm sure you've given the art cafe one, but give another example.
Okay, I think the main thing is price is cost plus profit. Okay, so if it's going to cost you 1,000 bob to do a magazine, then you want to charge 2,000 bob so that you get a profit from that whole overall project, right? But if that magazine is cosmopolitan and you've charged 2,000 bob and that thing is going to make $1 million, then there's some value there that should be coming to you in terms of your service. Okay, so ask yourself, the first day that they designed the Nike logo, you could say it was worth $50. But in 2021, what is Nike worth? What is that brand worth? Right? So if that guy was paid $50, homeboy was played, bro. Okay? And that's how you get to look at it.
That's crazy. Like the other people, they say, Joan Risper said, they say if you think you undervaluing, you're probably undervaluing. But Leroy, let me ask you, when so say I've priced my work at X amount of dollars, as we charge in dollars. I've priced my work at X amount of dollars, and I want to do this, I want to do that. But then the client comes and says, so this project, I think we are going to extend it. You then, but because I was also told that after every project, your value should go higher. I think I saw that from Christo as well. He said that after you've priced a project, you've done the project, and the project is done, your value goes higher.
And it's good.
And it's good, yeah.
But then it's good.
Of course, it has to be good. This is us. but then again, you've already established a relationship with the client, yes, and she knows or he knows you charge X amount of dollars. But then there's also this mantra that after you've done the project, it goes high. Where is the in between? Where is the compromise? Who is supposed to compromise in this case?
Wow, is that everyone will compromise, right? Everyone's going to compromise, yeah. And I think just to answer the question about undervaluing, if you feel uncomfortable with the job that you're doing, right? If you feel there's too much back and forth, if you feel that you're being undermined, if you feel that people aren't listening to you, and like if it's really uncomfortable, you probably undercharged, right? And ideally, the best way to deal with troublesome clients or troublesome projects is to make sure you're paid enough for you to be like, it's okay, I'm getting paid, so let me just keep up with this BS. Okay. Again, I don't know if it's so different. Like, we're all so different. Like, maybe for you 1,000 bob is good. Maybe for me 1,500 is good. Maybe for the next guy 150,000 is basic. And I mean, right? It's just so crazy, the differences.
I hear you on that. We are getting there. Because I want to twist the knife in your back a little bit. When you say, charge the client enough to say, sawa, just do what you want. And I want to know, then because when the client has so much power, the creative freedom is lost. Yeah? And you as a creative, you want to be proud of the work that you're putting in. You want to say, I want to come and show you, Leroy, this is the work that I did. And I want you to say, good job, man. Let's go have a drink. But then when you charge so much, the client tends to have so much power. And as a creative, how much do you know that? Or rather, when do you know that you've given up your creative rights just for the sake of the money?
Something very funny that you've said there, because it's like you're assuming that if a client gives you a lot of money, they're paying you to be the one in power, right? And that's not how it works. The reason you go to the best neurologist is because they're the best, and they cost the many millions that they cost. Do you understand? You don't go to them, you don't pay $1 million bob so that you can tell a guy, bro, by the way, start at the toes, working your way up. You understand? And hence feeling that sense of power. That's not how it works. Okay? And in like everything in life, it's all about balance. Okay? The entire engagement has to balance. Yes, you want to be proud of your work, but at the same time, you need to help this person solve their problem. And if they feel that their problem is not being solved, then why should they pay you a lot of money? Do you understand? So it's got to be a balance. You've got to, and that's why you're a creative person. You have to be like Neo in the Matrix and see the patterns and see where the gaps are and where everyone is happy. What is the best case scenario where everyone is happy and we do the job that is needed to be done, right? And in many cases, like the right solution is really uncomfortable for one of you people, right? Either the creative is going to be uncomfortable, or the client is going to be uncomfortable, or the consumer is going to be uncomfortable, but it'll probably be the best solution, okay? And that's it. Find that sweet spot.
Interesting. The right solution is, how did you term it? It's difficult for one person. Yeah. No, we're on the same page. But okay, fine. Maybe let's move away from pricing kidogo and talk about, just because I see our time is really flying by. I didn't know you talk. You what is it called? Serenade. Umenitoa pangoni vizuri sana. Sisi time yetu imekimbia sana. And we've not even talked about the mistakes that you made when you were younger. Further, in fact, let's talk about the mistakes that you made when you were younger. That you said, "Oh my God, okay, the lessons that you learned when you were younger." Perspective.
Perspective, man. So is that your question? Do you want me to tell you about that?
Yes, tell me.
The biggest mistake I made when I was younger is not believing in myself earlier enough, right? Because I've been very blessed to have known what I wanted to do since a very young age. I've been doing art and creative stuff from when I was a kid, from primary school, and somehow all those things led up to the point where I was like, can I use art to make money in terms of giving people solutions? Is it a poster, right? If it's a business, then they need a poster. I can pictures, I can put words, I can design something. Then I realized, yeah, I can be a designer. Then I was like, I could design anything. I used to design clothes. I would paint. I designed products. I designed shoes. There's a time when sneakers, basketball sneakers were crazy, and I used to design my own. And slowly but surely, I got into I got to know about graphic design. Then from graphic design, I realized, hey, advertising. I got my opportunity to get into an agency, and I fell in love with the creativity that goes behind, strategic thinking and helping businesses make a ton of money. And I realized I could make a ton of money as well through the same thing. Yeah, not just by helping others, but also helping myself and creating my own things, my own products and stuff. And here I am today. It's been a long journey, but I was one of the lucky few. Some people they just fluke, and they see a director, designer, a friend of theirs driving a big car, and they're like, yeah, I want one.
Yeah. I'm sure, like you said, it's been a journey for you, up to the level that you are right now. And looking at your history on LinkedIn and your Instagram, I'm seeing that you've evolved not just from a creative director, but you are now an insect photographer. This is not a relevant question, but why insects of all things?
Insects. I think the actual passion that I have is, you see, I'm a stickler for attention to detail, right? So when you look at something on the surface, it's a big TV, it's a big computer, it's a remote, it's a whatever. But you go macro and you zoom in closer to it, you realize that there's a reason why the design is the way it is, right? And fascinates me. Texture fascinates me. Structure, form fascinates me. So insects find me and they pose, and who am I? Just take the picture. I zoom in. I get fascinated with the eyes and the forms and everything about it, and it's inspirational to me, and it's a moment to just chill and sort of focus on something other than life.
Amazebox or whatever those people say. Now, Leroy, we are sadly coming to the end of our show, and I still have so many questions that I was told to ask you. But when some time back I was talking to a different creative director.
4 minutes. Wow.
I promise I'm not. I promise I'm not cheating on you. And we were talking about. I was saying I'm not cheating on you with another creative director. We were just talking. You were just talking. And you mentioned something that when you are young, you are in your 20s, the biggest skill that you can have is the ability to learn stuff. But when you are old or elderly, in your 40s or late 40s or 50s, your biggest skill will be your ability to unlearn. And I want to know, I'm not calling you old, but I want to know, what have you unlearned so far in this industry? That you thought this was supposed to be this way, but you saw. Yes.
I think the biggest thing that I've unlearned is wow, there's so much stuff, but I think the way we've been taught to speak to customers, audiences, based on advertising and stuff like that, is most of the time wrong for me. And I've learned that from the customer themselves, the audience, the people that we're trying to sell things to. They're way more straightforward. They don't need as much seduction as they do honesty, right? And now the biggest thing about creatives now is to find the thing that is honest about the products you're selling, that resonates with the audience you're talking to, right? If you are just purely trying to sell stuff, then you may sell, you may not. But if you're honest, I think you have a better chance of resonating. Yeah, and that's just how I see it.
So you do agree that honesty is the key when it comes to brands and advertising, especially.
100%. And the unfortunate thing is that we have a bunch of people who just sell products that are shitty. But you find some guys, like, I mean, why is Netflix as successful as it is? Because it sells that people want, that people love, and they're true to it. You understand? It's like Patco when I was a kid. Maze, that Patco was 100% legit, and everyone wanted it, and they didn't have to do much. They just said, "Tuko na hii Patco hapa." They had a poster that said Patco at this kiosk, and that was good enough, right? But look at the number of soft drinks, the number of restaurants. Like everyone's trying to sort of cheat you into buying their product. So honesty is key for sure. You're on mute, brother. You're on mute.
It's bad for my CV. I promise I'm never like this. I promise I'm never like this. Anyway, as a young person, remember, just be honest in advertising. If you don't take anything away from this, take that. Now, Leroy, as we come to a close, I want to know what has been your biggest highlight and what has been your proudest moment so far in advertising. I'm sure more are coming, but I want to know in your journey, what has been that moment you said, you know what, that was dope.
I think my proudest moment was when I became the creative director for Cheil, and I slate to build a team to change a brand, which was Samsung at the time. The opportunity to create a way of working within a small agency, that's when I realized that I actually want to lead, and I want to teach, and I want to unlock people's ability to be great, right? I don't need to be the greatest. I just want people, in terms of your creativity, in terms of your function, you have the capacity, and I'm here for it, right? I'm here for it. I'm here to cheer you on and to help guide you in the best you can grow. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I remember when we were at Scanad, we were desk mates once. I was a desk mate with the creative director, guys. Msinidharau, mimi ni jina kubwa. I remember, I remember when we were desk mates there, he used to talk a lot about mentoring. And I want to know, have you put plans in motion so that I can say when these guys approach me or approach us as Zero Shades, I tell them, you know what, there's a guy that I can hook you up with. This is his email address, look for him.
You know something, I don't have anything set up per se, but now that you ask me, I will be intentional and I will set it up and I will start, right? I've gotten one request from a couple of young designers, and you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Okay? Let's do it. Let's grow. Let me help you grow.
Fuck it. Let's do it. Guys, I don't think we can end this on a better note than that. Like, fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
My final question is, do you have a question for me that you think I should have asked but I have not? These young people tend to forget things.
Question you should have asked. No. I think you've done a fantastic job, bro. And I hope we inform as many young people as.
Yes. I agree. I'll give out a shout out. But I remember that there was a question from Johnny who was asking about the books that you read, if you mind sharing them. I don't know if it's sharing them with him or just with everyone to keep your mind fresh.
I think I've read so many books, but what I'll share with you is the topics. Okay, the topics would be how to gain a growth mentality. Topics on around how to influence other people, and to public speaking, how to present your work, how to sell your company, right? There's a beautiful book called Built, which I enjoyed the hell out of. It's mostly, and it'll always be about perspective, right? And perspective is driven by mentality, person, right? So build your mind, build your mind so that you can have it as open as possible, and that's what will make you unique. Okay.
Yes. It's always about perspective, and perspective is built by mentality. Build your mind, and you will get whatever you're looking for. I think I've enjoyed my conversation with you a lot. I don't want to let you go. I am bad at goodbyes, but I know you're a busy man. You need to go and enjoy your cafe. Yeah.
Asante.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I've enjoyed myself as well. Ash, it's been a minute. Thank you for this.
No, the honor is all ours. The honor. I'd like to thank everyone who was there for our show today, from Jawan Rispa, Owino Nisi, Johnny Duck, Vita. I can't keep on scrolling here. I can look through. But thank you guys for tuning in. All the amazing people of you who are here. You know, meeting Leroy is a good guy. I'll once we are done, I'll make sure I've shared on our social media. We'll share his email address so that you can link up with him and talk to him. He has a brain that if you don't find it now, remember we just a small one, but it works for us. You know, small things are good. So they look for Leroy. Leroy, give us the final one.
I think the final words are only two. Thank you. It's been fantastic, guys. And yeah, call me back in a while. Let's see what things have changed and how we've grown.
You know what? Fuck it. We'll do it. Thanks so much for coming. Thanks so much for coming. And we see you guys next Friday when we bring another slightly too amazing. Slightly amazing, but Leroy was the best. So, thank you guys. See you.
Awesome.
See you in the next show.
Cheers, guys.